TK, imagine if we needed sold signs for all the condos, okay, or for sale signs for all the condos. Like, how would we
Yeah.
come up with so many? Right?
Like on the bottom of the condo building. Like,
Well,
yeah.
anywhere, just in
It'd just be like a board
general.
of 301, 308, 316, 412, 4. Yeah. What's up with that sweater?
I just love it. It's so comfortable. Do you not like it?
Oh, I just feel like
I always wear it.
no.
That it's. Should I not be publicizing this company?
I don't even know. Like, is that even a company anymore?
They technically are at the moment, although
Yeah.
I don't think they're in the space
There's
they
always these
intended.
like there's always like these brokerages that come out, right? Like when the market's hot.
That's such a bad idea.
Gonna die. That stuff can't be good for you. A bad idea. Oh, that was dumb.
These new brokerages will get introduced to the market, and it'll usually be like experienced agents who know what they're doing.
These
But
guys,
then,
these guys were like, these guys are the guys that built PSR, right?
okay, great.
Uh,
I'm not saying that they're not whatever, but
no, but they picked the wrong time and the
yeah,
wrong program,
it every time there's a new
the
market
wrong part
that
of the
a
industry.
good market, a hot market, things come out of that hot market, right?
Okay,
It's kind
hold
of
on
like
a
the
second.
auctions.
Hold on a second
Are
here.
we holding
Huh?
for? Oh.
Well, I mean,
You said
this is
recording. I clicked OK.
well,
I put on my
maybe.
dancing shoes.
Well, but TK, like I'm in the middle of agreeing to this extension for God's sake. So like I can't really focus because I'm waiting on an email to approve.
Okay.
Like we've got it. We got
The
everything down.
lawyers are
Everybody,
nailed it out.
TK, you're a genius. And you know what's
Well,
funny, actually,
that's okay.
because
Are we recording?
we're recording. Yes.
Okay, good. Just
Don't
making
worry.
sure there's a
Yeah,
videotape.
I
All
got the
right.
part where you're a genius because you
Okay.
did give me the advice to like just hand it off to the lawyers now, which funny enough was also the seller's agent's idea when we were first saying, hey, we're sending an amendment for an extension, by the way, because we
Yeah.
can't close on time. And they were like, well, this is out of my hands. Let the lawyers do it. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, well, that
Nobody
round,
listens to their agent after the deal is done. The agents are like, don't listen to your lawyer. You don't need to have this agreement of purchase and sale reviewed by your lawyer. It's all good. Just sign here. It's fine. I do this all the time. But then once it's a firm deal and the deal does go to the lawyer, they stop listening to the agents. And it really depends on the skill of the lawyer. There's a lot of times I'm the one uh, wagging the dog's tail. Is that the right?
I don't know. What are you trying to, what's the
Like I
point?
sometimes have to tell the lawyer what to do.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And then other times the lawyers are on point. But I'll be honest with you, most of the time they're not.
a
Most of the
lot of
time they're not.
times I tell the lawyer what I think, but am
Yeah.
legally incorrect. Right. Or there's, it's hard to find something legal that's straightforward and there's no other way to look at it. Right. So it's
Yeah.
like the amount of times where I've called my lawyer and said, like, is this the way it's going to play out? Like, are you sure? And I've heard, yeah, for sure. And
Yeah.
then it's like the opposite of that because some other genius lawyer comes up with a way around what it says, right?
So in 2017, that was my first real market correction. Because 2008, 9 was nothing. 2017 was 15% drop in like a month. It was crazy.
Hmm.
And it was like a real, like, oh my God, what are we going to do? And there was a lot of closings that couldn't happen anymore for different reasons. And so I got a lot of experience then from negotiating once the deal had gone firm. So now we're trying to we're trying to keep the deal together.
Yeah.
We're offering different solutions, vendor takebacks. We're trying to find solutions on how to, keep the buyer interested still because they sometimes couldn't close, but they needed more time, and we had to make sure that they wanted to, keep trying to keep the contract alive, because if not, the seller had to, sell the property. And we knew that, like, this one deal, the buyer paid 2 million. We listed it at 1.5. He paid 2 million, I want to say, maybe 1.9. And like the next offer was like 1.5. Like he was like 400 grand over what everyone else. No, he was 250 grand over. He was 400 grand over asking, but he was 250 grand over asking. 250 grand over the second place buyer. So we held a $250,000 VTB
Hmm.
because it was worth it. There was nobody else willing to pay even close to what this guy paid.
Sure.
And so to be able to get it closed, we held a $250,000 VTB.
This is the power of the VTB. This is
And
the
so,
tool, right? To get
so
shit
these,
done.
and we had to register it after closing because his bank didn't want to see that.
Oh
So the risk to
God.
the seller was, it wasn't going to get registered, but anyways, it was.
Wasn't going to get
And
the money.
he got the money like years later now. You know what I mean? Like probably 2022, 5 years later, when it was supposed to be 2 years, because it was
Mm.
just the way that the market was. There was no way for this guy to pay him back, but he paid his interest along the way. So the guy got his money along the way through their interest, and he was happy
Well,
because he
listen,
knew he knew he knew the situation with the market.
well, the market is definitely a goddamn disaster. And if you're trying to close on land, okay, like the underwriting of houses is much tighter than it used to be. But land, first you got to find somebody that wants to even participate, which is much harder than it used to be, believe me. But
Mhm.
then, you have to find the right person to participate when you're doing deals the way that I do them. And when, you buy something so well and people just can't believe the new appraisal because that's just not what happens now, right? So you really have to find the right partners that understand the deals properly because most people are scared shitless to buy land right now. But
Mhm.
thank God, we got lucky and smart and we got into some deals that, the planning, I just got into them at the right time, right? And the planning changed while I had them, and that
Still
made
changing.
still changing on one of
Still
them,
changing. Yeah.
right? But like, I'm lucky because most deals right now are unfinanceable without so much equity. It's insane.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
even having to raise more equity than I wanted to, right? I'm not
Yeah.
getting the valuations I was intending.
Yeah.
But it's a very different market than I've ever swam in my life. And it's somebody put a tweet out today asking, what signs to look for the bottom. And I was like, why are you looking for
Sold
the
signs.
bottom now?
Sold signs. That's the
It's a
answer.
little early. Well, I
When
think
you start seeing a lot of sold signs, it's the bottom.
that's one sign for
For
sure.
sale
But
signs, hasn't come yet.
well, the for sale signs are everywhere. Even
So
there's
so it's
more
not there yet.
listings. There's more
Yeah.
listings than for sale signs, right? There's
Yeah.
not enough
Yeah.
for sale signs to match the
All of a
amount of
sudden,
listings.
those sold. We've hit the bottom, and it's gonna
Imagine,
start going back up again.
TK, imagine
Yep.
if we needed sold signs for all the condos, okay? Or for sale signs for all the condos. Like, how would we
Yep.
come up with so many? Right?
Like on the
It's
bottom of the condo building. Like,
well,
yeah.
anywhere, just in
But just like a board
general.
of 301, 308, 316, 412, 4. Yeah. It'll
But
be a pain.
okay. But the point is that I think the most important thing that we've seen time and time again is the way that people are talking about the market, right? The
No.
sentiment in the market. That's more powerful than rate cuts, rate increases, CPI prints, immigration numbers, birth rates, whatever the fuck. If people don't feel like maybe it's a good time to buy now, it's
Yeah.
not turning around. But when the conversations go from like, fuck, I wish we could talk about this on air. This guy is so fucked up. This story is so crazy. It's so horrible to maybe it's a good time to buy something now. Right now,
Mhm.
the fact that I'm talking about extension and closing on something this is a purchase from a year ago, right? It's
Mhm.
just closing now. But people now putting deals together like to get a land loan on a normal site, like a typical site. I don't know how you could do
Yeah.
it, right? I have no
So
idea how
I'll
you
tell
could.
you my couple of situations. So one is the condo I bought. A lot of new listings in those buildings I bought. A
Mm,
little bit nervous, like wow, look. Not that I'm regretting anything, but I'm just saying a lot of listings. They're all selling conditionally.
mhm.
recently, all of them.
Yeah.
So obviously there's demand there. So that's good. So I'm happy about that. That feels good on my side. And they're all like well above the price that I paid for different reasons, but I'm happy about that. But my deal that I'm working on right now for the extensions is appraisal shortfall. 400
Appraisal
grand.
shortfall. This is on houses?
400 grand. Yeah, freehold house, downtown Toronto. So $400,000 under appraised value. Look into that any way you want. Maybe the appraisal is low, maybe the price they paid is high. Regardless, buyer's like, I can't close.
Got the
Okay.
extension. Got the extension.
Congratulations.
Got the extension. Got the extension. Holy shit, man. That was intense. Okay.
Yeah, good. Good
Sorry.
for you. Happy for you.
Thank you. Thank you. Holy fuck, man. You have no idea.
I know. I know exactly how you feel.
I
right
need
now.
to do a little happy
I'm
dance.
telling an extension story right now. I know.
Some
I know.
bourbon. I need a
I know.
bourbon, TK. Holy fuck.
And so they came back for an extension. It was like a short closing, and then all of a sudden, like, we need 2 months extension. We're like, oh my God, like, you guys conned us basically by saying, whatever it is. Now my guys are in a situation. If there's a situation, Darryl, these guys are in it. If there's a situation to talk about on this show, if there's a situation that people love to hear, the juicy stories behind the scenes, makes the papers, this is the situation. Okay.
Under the
I
table,
won't
perhaps?
say any more, but
Okay.
this is the situation.
Uh-oh.
So there's a lot of interest being paid to a lot of different people.
Yeah. I'll bet. Yeah.
And so it was expensive for this extension, right? So we gave them a first extension, but then they're like, well, now the appraisal's coming 400 grand under. We need another one.
Mhm.
So of course I get out the rifle, the shotgun, double barrel shotgun. And I say, you got 3 days to close or we're keeping your deposit and putting it back on the market because we got another buyer.
Oh.
Got someone else who's going to buy the property. Keep your deposit.
Did
Big
you
deposit.
really though? Did you really? Or this
It's a
was
developer who bought it too. This is a developer buying a single family home next door to their development.
You did not answer the question.
Did we have a real buyer?
Yeah.
Yes,
Backup
there's
buyer.
always another buyer.
Always?
There's always
Right.
another buyer.
Right. But did
Yes.
we really? No. We just
There's always
do?
another buyer. You don't
Right.
you don't know. No, I'm just saying that I may not be as good of a buyer.
Right. It may not be real.
There
they
may not be as good of a buyer.
human.
No, I had a lineup of people to buy this property. I have
Right.
buyers.
You just have to go back and get them. They're not waiting at the ready.
Well, they haven't bought. I got buyers. Darryl.
I got
That's it.
buyers.
I
I got
got
buyers. We got
Okay?
buyers.
But
Get
this is a good
your
buyer that we
buyers
got.
here. Yeah.
We're trying to keep this buyer.
We're trying to keep this
We're
buyer.
trying to keep this buyer. Okay.
Right. By
So-
threatening that there's other buyers. Got
Well,
it.
I just said,
Hey.
look, get it done. So
Get
then
it
they came
done.
back and said, well, why don't you guys hold a $500,000 VTB?
Ooh,
Right.
yeah.
So I'm like,
creative.
what?
What?
Can't do that.
And Frank Leo just give them the money. He's so
We're not-
rich.
We're not giving you a $500,000 VTB.
No.
So anyways, I called my client,
Give me a
made some-
second.
made some preparations for him just to be able to figure out how we're going to handle things internally. And they came back and said, okay, fine. We will give you an extension, but we'll also give you a further deposit released directly to the seller and pay all the interest that you got to pay for the next month. Right. Because the other problem with this place is that they're leasing it back to my client for a year after closing. So
Right.
that's hard to replace, to find a buyer who's going to do that. Right. Because they're a developer, not an end user. So anyways, we got the extension approved yesterday. They're
Oh.
sending the money in today. And, what's the likelihood of them not coming up with the money by the end of next month? Because we also said that the initial deposit in the broker trust account by the end of next month, if they still need an extension, will be released directly to the seller as well.
The good news, TK.
So that's a lot of money now for the seller to have in their pocket. And that's a lot of money for the
Sure.
buyer to lose, not to just go get some like private mortgage somewhere that'll finance them at any rate.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
for guys who own a lot of, they got like they drive very nice vehicles. They own a lot of very expensive property. They paid a lot more money for the neighbors and the other site than our site. Ours is by far the cheapest. Even the houses that they bought, because they bought the site we're next to, but there used to be 2 more houses between my client's house and their commercial properties that they own, and they even paid more for those 2. So I mean, they got the money. They'll get there.
Other than appraisal shortfalls, like what other reasons are people like? I know with my situation, it wasn't, well, I mean, at first it was a shortfall evaluation, but then what it was just procedural stuff that had to be done once the lender got comfortable with all of the,
Pre-financing.
right?
Yeah.
It's the financing. It's always the financing, which, by the way, your blanket on the chair thing, it's not green, TK. So it's literally useless, just so you know. Okay.
Really?
Yeah. Can't put
Right
a
now, I
white
don't
thing
see the
there.
blanket.
No, right now it's good, but you wouldn't
Yeah.
see the chair either. Anyways, what was I saying? I got distracted by your lack of good
Professionalism.
professionalism with regards to green screens.
Okay.
I forget what I was saying, but it is a
Something that goes
crazy,
wrong is usually
crazy.
financing at the end of the
Oh,
day.
financing.
I'm not
Some of the
having too many of these
pitches.
issues on closing. Right now, everybody's closing. The last ones that I've been able to get to, we stiff armed them and they closed on time. We said, no, we're taking your deposit and letting you and selling the property to someone else.
But who
That
wants to
happened
deal
twice
with
in the
that
last
shit?
month or month and a half, and both those guys closed.
Both
So
those
they
guys
found a way.
closed, eh? They found a
Yeah.
way.
These guys couldn't find a way. My guys didn't really want to, stiff arm them. They were happy because they're renting back the place for a year. We gave them an extra 2 months. Now they're asking for another month. We made it really juicy this time in order to get that extension.
Mhm.
Right?
Well, this is the thing, and the
Yeah.
good thing about these contracts is that until they close, like what's written on them is almost meaningless, right? Because
Almost.
almost
Almost.
meaningless.
Yeah.
These contracts are very detailed guides to maybe closing
Yes. If you went into
somewhere.
court and both people had lots of money and time, there would be an outcome.
Like houses are different, right?
Yeah.
Houses for the most part they close on time, or
You'd
maybe a
expect people
day
to not
later.
be signing contracts that they couldn't keep. But Daryl, we have something important to talk about today. I have an agenda.
Hold on a sec.
Why?
Okay, fine. I don't know. I figured I was leading to something when I started talking, but maybe I'm wrong. Go
Most
ahead.
likely wrong. Most likely
Most
wrong.
likely wrong.
We got a lot of fraud going out there, Daryl.
Your throat's feeling better because you were like much quieter yesterday. I
There's
felt
four of
like I
us.
got to talk a lot more yesterday, and today,
Well, enjoy it.
well,
Like,
okay. Well, I'm
it's
glad
good.
your voice is it's better. Your throat.
There's a lot of fraud going on out there.
A lot of
Let's
fraud
talk about
going
the
on.
Fortress one first.
You want to talk about the? Well, go ahead. I mean, I'm not going to get a word in, so tell us. What about the fortress thing?
Well, you know more about Fortress, so I would like I defer to you on this one.
Oh, I see. So you wanted to cut me off of what I wanted to talk about to bring up
To
something that
steer
you
you in the
want me
right
to talk about.
direction. Yeah,
Got
to
it.
steer
Okay.
you in the right direction. Because
Thank
where
you.
you are going, nobody knows.
I don't know where I'm
Nobody
going.
knows.
I
Nobody
have
knows.
no idea. I
There's
have
people
no
in the
idea.
comments right now saying like, "Where is this going?"
Where is this going?
Good.
Okay,
So
fine.
Fortress, we're here.
So
So right now,
Fortress.
the economy starts to tank.
Yeah,
I'm still
good
talking about
timing
okay.
for Fortress, right?
And so there's a release of a court decision based on Daryl's story that he's about to tell. So this is why we're talking about this.
Um, thank you for the introduction. I appreciate the invite to the show.
Yep.
Thank you for having me.
Who is Fortress? Their developer?
They were a developer.
Yeah.
I don't think that they're a developer anymore. Although
Did they ever develop anything? Did they ever build anything?
I don't know if they built anything. They may have stayed in a deal as a partner with somebody. I mean, they did do it over a decent amount of time, right? This started like 15, 20 years ago. So they had to build something, right? I don't know how profitable the builds were.
Yeah, they may not have built anything.
They may not have built
That's the
anything.
game.
I actually should look at it. I think I told you I did speak to them at one point in my career. I did try and buy one of their properties off of them down on
Yep.
Charlotte Street. I don't know why that wasn't mentioned as one of the properties in the articles that are out there. There are quite a few.
They might have flipped it.
So basically what happened is these sharp guys decided that they were going to attack the demographic that is the most susceptible to this kind of fraud, the elder, uneducated investor, someone with money sitting in an RSP, I guess. So, they build these funds where you can use your RSP money and they offer like 20 to 25% guaranteed returns, but like with an asterisk that nothing is guaranteed, exorbitant fees and crazy commission structures to get more people out there looking for these victims, right? And so these guys did it to the tune of like $400, $500, $600 million, right? Maybe even $900 million, like some crazy amount of money in small bits, 25,000, 100,000, 150,000 from all kinds of just old people that don't know what the hell they're doing, that trusted some schmuck that was getting like a 10% commission, and they got busted. So they I guess a couple of economists that are out there on Twitter looked at the performas or looked at the decks, the offerings, right, and realized that something wasn't kosher. And they were doing things like, they were using future valuation as the current value, and they were taking crazy amounts of debt on the properties, and they just weren't paying the returns. It was just a big Ponzi scheme, right? And there were other people that really should be implicated on this. One of them was on the show at one point. One's a real son of a bitch, lying piece of shit that can be hired by any developer right now to write anything that you want down on a piece of paper to submit to your financing. But I won't name his name.
We won't
TK.
name names.
I won't
Okay,
name
thank
his
you.
name. But he should be implicated and being run through the ringer the same as these two guys. But these two guys yesterday, for the last these allegations have been out there since 2015, 16. The RCMP went into their office like 2018, cleared them all out, shut them down. Yeah, they're not a developer anymore because this happened. So they got shut down, and they've been going through courts, and now they were found guilty of fraud of like whatever value. And then these motherfuckers just walked out the door of the court. Like they didn't even go to jail after this. So they've robbed people of all this money. They've been found guilty, and now they're, I guess, awaiting sentencing in their, I mean, if it was me, I'd be on my private jet by now, wouldn't I? Right? I get the
Maybe you don't have a private jet anymore.
I don't know what these guys, these guys are known. Okay. They're known for being courtside at the Raptor games, right?
Yeah.
The motherfuckers, they like flaunt it, right? They're still out there, right? Pretending like
that's
everything's
the common
fine.
theme. That's the theme of today's show.
The theme of today's show.
That's the theme of today's show. I know I don't talk to you about this before the show, but
thank you.
I'm surprising you. I like that sort of adventure. I feel like this is a much more real version of our conversation than both of us trying to prepare for it. I prepare and I let you guess.
Thank you.
So the theme of the show is
prepare to guess.
No.
Guess to prepare.
No.
Fraud in Canada.
Close.
Fraudster bastards.
Is it the luxury lifestyle that leads these guys to commit the fraud? Or is it because of the fraud that they choose to live the luxury lifestyle?
Well,
because these two things seem to be correlated. There never seems to be a fraudster who gets caught and they're like, he was hiding all the money under his mattress. He siphoned the money into Bitcoin. Like, we all have this idea of like the money, we got to get the money back. He's probably got that, saved somewhere offshore, and that when he gets out of jail, because that's what I would do. I would bury the sack of $1 million in a hole in the forest, and then when I got out of jail, I'd go and dig the bag out, and I'd live a good life. It'd be worth it if I had to do a couple years behind bars. They spent all the money. Look at the what was it, BW, the group that we took down alongside with many other people, but obviously we were a big part of that. BW, what was it?
BG Wealth Fund or something?
BG Wealth Fund. Those guys. The money, they had the lavish lifestyle. There was a father, Greg Martel in BC. He was a hockey dad. $300 million Ponzi scheme.
God damn.
Can you
imagine?
Constantly bringing the new deal, the next deal, just exactly the way Fortress did it, using future valuations, lying on the balance sheet, showing exactly, what people needed to see because he had a finance background. Ends up going down to the States, right? Ends up after he's scamming everybody here in Canada, goes down to the States, meets the right people, gets connected in Vegas, goes to California, starts living that big huge lifestyle, the private jets, the Rolls Royce Ferraris. He's got like car leasing companies, like he's got all this type of stuff, and all he's doing is just continuing to bring in more investors' money. You don't manage it well, so if anybody looked at the books, they would notice. What do, Darryl? You cook the books.
You cook those books. I think what really happens for the most part, and there's probably guys that from the onset are planning a scam, okay? But I think probably for the most part, guys have good intentions. They think that they're going to crush it in the industry, and something changes on them, right? Whether it's the market, timing, bad loan, like who knows what the hell happens, but something changes where they have to keep the illusion going so the whole deck of cards doesn't fall apart. And probably, as that happens, they start to go, oh shit, like it's way easier to raise a lot of money when we lie about everything.
Yeah.
Like maybe
So
this should be the business model now, right?
just because obviously, me and you have two different personality types, and you being clearly upset with the individual that you were speaking of a few minutes ago, and me pretty, laxy daisy over here. I don't
Level-headed.
believe that they go into it thinking that they should scam people. I believe we're all born good people. And I
Some
think that
people do for sure.
I don't think so. I think that they really
No
believed.
one.
I just think that people are stupid and that they think it's easy to make
Yeah,
money. And so that if they just raised enough money, that then they would invest it in real estate because everyone makes money in real estate. You just got to
sure,
buy the houses. You just rent them out. You rent out the
sure.
apartment building. You get the commercial property. And
We'll
so
make
what
it up on
happens?
the next deal.
They make it up on the next deal. So they
It's like
feel
a
like
poker hand.
well, if I just buy those properties, I'll make all this money because I heard other people did it before. And then once they get caught in their own lies and their own cycle, they have no choice but to raise some more money. Then they
Sure.
get a little money in their bank account. And with the limited money management skills that they have, they start buying stuff. And then when they start buying stuff, they go, wow, the more cool stuff I have, the more people want to invest their money with me.
Yeah.
And maybe
Right.
one day
Right.
I'll make that big deal
Yeah. You can't
and I'll
say
pay everybody back.
you can't. Hey Vince, why aren't you sitting courtside anymore?
Yeah.
Right. You can't. Hey
Yeah.
Vince, why are you driving a fucking Camry, bro? Right. So, and this is
Where's
the thing,
my 11% interest, Vince?
right? Right.
Yeah.
And so, yes, probably most people go into it with good intentions, right? But there's
Yes.
definitely some bad seeds. And then I guess
Okay.
it
I
takes
got a
the
bad
right.
seed for you. Sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead. No,
No,
sorry.
like I can barely remember what I'm gonna say as it's coming out of my mouth. Like when you cut me off, I have
know.
no
I'm
hope
so
in
horrible.
hell.
That was a bad one. That was the worst one I
I
ever
love
did.
how people would pin it on me for years.
It's my fault.
Like,
It's
let
my fault.
TK talk. Let TK.
It's my
Okay.
fault.
Yeah, it is your fault. And I have no idea what I was saying.
Okay. Well, then I'm ready for
But
mine.
I'm sure you're prepared.
All right. His
Yeah.
name is Moise Kunmar. He's from
Moise
Brampton.
Kunmar.
Remember
Okay.
Paradise Developments?
Paradise Homes? Paradise?
Paradise, yeah. Remember when we
Yeah.
were doing the shows because Paradise had sold all those houses that were worth way more than what
Yeah, yeah.
worth way less than what people paid?
People were protesting outside of their
All right.
sales centers.
Well, this scud bucket named Moise Kunmar
What
from
is he?
Brampton.
What is he?
And if
a
you saw a
realtor?
picture of him, you wouldn't trust this guy. No, he's nothing. You wouldn't trust this guy to water your flowers on the weekend when you go to the cottage.
You
Okay?
said that aggressively, like he hurt you, TK.
Well, this is what he would do. This is the truth. He went around to poor people and said, poor people as in innocent people.
Poor.
And he said to them, I represent Paradise Homes, and I'm going to sell you one of the houses in their development. Sign here. Congratulations, you just bought your own house. Oh, don't worry about going to the bank for a mortgage. I have my own mortgage company. You're approved.
Oh no.
Give me your deposit.
Mm-hmm.
And he took their money. And he would drive them to the site and say, that one is yours.
Mm-hmm.
And the company he started sounded just like Paradise Developments. It was like Paradise Mortgage, specializing in your neighborhood.com.
No,
Inc.
it was
Limited.
even closer. I remember.
Whatever.
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
It was like enough.
Paradise Homesers.
Yes. So it was enough for people to go, I'm writing a check to these developers, and this is the guy who's selling me the property. So hopefully this guy, they throw the book at this guy. Because stuff like that, like
that's going.
I really do believe
a scam. He was not having good intentions.
Even though I had this prepared, I was still ready to forgive this guy until I thought about what he actually did.
Right.
You know? So they caught him. They know what's going on. He frauded a bunch of people. The money's gone because he bought stupid stuff with it. He doesn't even have good taste in anything.
Nothing? Like
No.
nothing good?
Nothing good at all.
Nothing good. Not even like Bitcoin or something?
Nothing. This guy, he bought Shiba Inu.
Shiba Inu. Okay.
Shiba Inu. You know, like he doesn't even know how to buy crypto. Yeah.
Like,
so, well, in 2025 it is.
Yeah. Well, when I bought it, it was too. Well, not the day I bought it, but 3 days after, right?
3 days after you bought it.
3 days after I bought it. It was a bad idea.
So, anyways, scary
Sorry to cut
world
you
that
off
we live
there.
in.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Scary world that we live in. Now,
Add
are people bad?
AI into the mix now.
Well,
Like,
here we go.
so
So
hold
now
on a
we've got
sec.
AI fraud.
So hold on a sec. So
Tell
you
me.
go back a few years, okay? And
Okay.
you had guys who would, all they had to do was go down a couple of streets, knock on the doors with a clipboard, and sell a bunch of people whatever, HVAC or whatever. We're going to come back. Here's the estimate. Give us a deposit. Thank you. Have a nice day. We'll be back in 3 days. And they'd go down the line and they do this to, like, I don't know, everybody they could, and they'd fucking disappear. And these guys made careers of it because guess who the target audience was, right? These poor old people with money in their fucking RSPs, right? Or lines of credits or who knows what. And so now, if you see the stuff that's coming out like so easily online right now, it's insane what they can do. The level of fraud that we have seen, we're just scratching the surface here, okay? We're just starting to learn what it's like to commit fraud because did you hear there's like reports of some of these AI systems that were like trying to fool their creators into not turning them off, like doing some pretty crazy stuff and lying to people about it, like full out lying. So when these AIs, can already fool even not old senile people, like just your typical person who's kind of even interested in tech, like what do those poor old people, like, how do they stand a chance? What chance do they have of not being fooled by every other phone call and every other video that they see? Right? Like the bank could just call them. Hi, Mrs. Butler. How are you today? Right? And it's like, they don't know that the guy is not real. They don't know that it's just a computer. We noticed that your account needed, blah, 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 blah. And, press right here. Whatever the fuck they do. People send $500 for the dumbest shit ever, right? Like, Mom, I'm in Jamaica and I can't get out, right?
And AI can deep fake their kid's voice.
Yeah, in 2
This
seconds.
is what it is now.
Right? 2
And
seconds.
AI, you ever get those numbers where somebody calls you, you call them back, and you're like, hey, I just received a call from this number. And they're like, no, you didn't.
Yeah.
Because they can fake the number that they're calling from.
Oh, yeah.
So when you call back that number, it's not even the person who actually called you. If you had picked up, it would have been the guy on the phone in some other country telling you some other story.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. And so I heard this report about I forget what country. I forget who or what company, but I think it was CIBC. It was either RBC or CIBC that they fired a bunch of staff and they're outsourcing the call center to like South America. And I'm like, what's the fucking point of going to South America? Like maybe for 3 months until they figure out this AI thing, because the AI phone calls are insane. And the situations that you can train them to deal with, like, are unlimited, right? It's insane what you can pack into this thing. So depending on how specialized a service is, it's a no-brainer. And then fraud and porn and God knows what, these machines are going to be able to suck the life savings out of.
Hold on. Okay, so fraud, I want to connect all those things. Fraud.
Okay. Yeah.
So as in what we're talking about right now.
All kinds of different
And then you said
frauds.
porn.
Sure. I mean, imagine these fake, real looking women.
And so it's going to put real porn actors out of business.
Well, not only that, it'll rob these poor young and old idiots out of their money because they'll be able to control this perfectly generated, perfect version of perfection for them.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
These poor kids are going to be stuck in their little dog crate con. What do we call them? What was the new name for them?
Vertical cell blocks.
ROI
LOL.
LOL
exclamation mark LOL.
Yeah.
I don't know. But
nobody knows what we're talking about.
I don't think it's the kids who are spending all the money on porn. I'm pretty sure that would be more mature.
No, but imagine you're a kid and you get stuck in that, like at the age that we started looking at that kind of stuff. They're fucked now. Okay?
But it was like a magazine back then. It was like a
you have to
a
go
catalog
through a
for
humiliation ritual at Max
panties
Milk,
and underwear from Sears or something.
7-Eleven. You have to go get embarrassed, buy the damn thing, and then go figure out what to do with it. Now it's like the level of reality and control is insane. But
Yeah.
imagine you combine all of that together. Okay. What kind of money you can extract from people? It's insane.
Okay.
It's
So
insane.
now
Like,
fraud side of this, right? Because that's our topic for today, right?
well, imagine
In
you
the
could
AI
say,
sense,
Chat
think about it.
GPT, make me a pay stub for the last 6 years from this company. Okay.
Yeah.
Set up a voice over IP with a chat bot that answers the phone. Make my
Yes.
resume, make my bank account statements that reflect all this income and all these expenses. Like you
Yes.
can literally program it to do all of that
Make a
in
website
a
that
minute.
shows my information as this, my company's address is this, my boss's
Everything.
address is that, all that.
20 minutes.
Create, whatever it is. And there's a printer because a lot of this when it comes to money, right? So you got to get the money. Anytime you're doing fraud, there's two sides of this. One, there's the actual transaction side, but the second side is the banking side. You need to be able to get the money out of the account. And the lawyer, right, which is there to detect fraud, basically, they're going to cut a check to the person's name. That name has to be on a bank account somewhere, and they have to be able to go and cash that check, which means they also need to go to the bank. And what they're doing is they're using a machine to print government ID. They can print any government ID that they want, right? And so now I show up with an ID that says Darryl Frankfort on it with your address and all your information, but my face. And then I say, I'm here to collect the check for Mr. Frankfort. Great. I'm here to deposit a check into my account. Great, which I've started that you don't know about. I'm here to transfer my money, my funds from that account into this account, right?
Yeah. Look,
These are all
there's a realtor, like an AI realtor somewhere in South America or Brazil sold, I don't know, 10 million, 100 million, some crazy number of real estate, like an AI, like just a chatbot selling that much real estate. Like, I don't know how they're going to figure out how to stop that kind of stuff, but maybe you don't even want to stop it. I would love to have a chat bot that could go out there and raise me funds, right?
Yeah.
For this building.
But won't it just be eventually my chatbot speaking to your chatbot?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, won't
This
it
is the
just
whole
be
thing right
eventually?
now.
Won't it eventually just be like, all right, you answer the phone for me, chatbot,
Yeah.
and then
Everything.
like
No,
filter out,
they're
and if you think it's another chatbot, you know what I mean?
they're
Tell them
talking right
tell them where
now.
to go.
Like the
Yeah.
internet is changing. The internet won't be the internet because now it's not the people going on to the websites. It's the chat GPT searching the website and bringing all the information back
Simplifying
to you
it. Yeah.
in a way that, makes more sense.
Why would I waste my time looking for, what's the best restaurant for me to go to on a Saturday night that
Right.
serves beef skewers?
Right. So if
When
you
I could
want
just
to,
add chat GPT and say, hey, based on my location, where I am right now, and what my typical, palate is like, where should I go and get some shish kebabs?
right.
Yeah.
And so now this focus is shifting from like the website needs to be good for the bots to read them and bring back the right info, not
It's just
to
going
be
to be binary
appealing,
code.
but not to be appealing to you and me because we're never going to go on the website. We're going to
We'll
say,
never make it to page
right?
87,000, but
Like,
they will.
Chat
Yeah.
GPT, book me a flight on whatever and find me the nicest restaurant that goes with, everything you know about me and will make my wife happy and I won't have to hear about it. Right.
Yeah.
And Chat GPT will go fucking do that perfectly. Right.
Not yet.
Not today.
Not yet. The
but
stuff that I'm getting recommended a lot of the times is wrong. There's misinformation, all sorts of crap.
But
That's okay.
But the stuff
That's
that
okay.
it is good at, it is unbelievable at. And I honestly, I would easily have at least one other person working for me right now if I didn't have ChatGPT, because the amount of stuff I do on there that it is very capable of doing, and not like I use the first thing that it pumps out. Like it takes a lot of back and forth, but it's like, I don't have an employee. I pay this thing $20 a month or $30 a month, whatever it is. And it produces stuff for me that is unbelievable. Legal stuff.
Agreed.
Like deal stuff, strategic stuff, all kinds of stuff. Right. And then content ideas and content creation and all that stuff. But like it's gonna get better. And it's getting better, and it's fucking scary and exciting all at the same time. Meanwhile, like it feels like the world is just crumbling around us, like as we knew it. You have lots
There's
of
stuff.
people.
There's stuff out there. I got more.
You
So I
got more
appreciate that
stuff?
AI talk there.
Hold on. Did
That's
we answer the fraud? Did we talk about Fortress? Did you let me finish the story? Do we know anything about that at the moment, TK? Because I feel like we hit
yeah.
8 other topics in between.
So
But
Fortress, those guys there.
maybe you want to give us a summary of what I said so that you can just keep talking. I think that's a good idea.
So Darryl met with these guys before at 8 Charlotte. He seen that the deal was very suspicious. He knew that they were taking on big chances. They invested more money. They were watching a lot of Raptors basketball games.
Yeah.
Called the RCMP, ended up coming and taking them down at one point. Their investments all seemed to fail. It was a big Ponzi scheme. They got exposed. They got charged, and most recently, their conviction was handed to them in courts.
And the most important part of the story, TK,
was there's another person involved
That's right.
not to be named, and he's a jerk, but he was on our show. So watch all 250 of our episodes.
That's right.
And try to pick out which person we're talking about.
Yeah, and I think actually, TK,
you can guess in the comments. And wrong answers will be accepted.
You did listen, TK. You did allow me to speak. I guess I want to speak more.
But I did the whole thing, right? Okay.
You did it pretty
Can I go
good.
on next?
Parts of it were good, but hold on a sec. The guy that broke that whole story, the guy that busted that whole thing open, Ben Rabideau. Do you know? Have you heard of Ben?
Yeah.
Guess who's coming on the show soon, TK?
Ben Rabideau.
Boom. We're gonna talk about
what a full
Fortress,
circle,
bro.
We bring the con artists, but then we beg for your forgiveness. We beg for your forgiveness, and we bring on the vigilantes, because Darryl and I are vigilantes. We took down the BG Wealth Group, and we're single-handedly bringing to you the man who took down Fortress. And we're going to take down more people. If you guys have more under the table vigilante cases for Darryl and I to take on, you let us know. Okay, we're ready. We're ready. We will expose the fraudsters, because nobody should be scammed out of their hard-earned money. I have been defrauded, and I can tell you single-handedly it was my fault. I put myself in that position, and I regret it, but I learned a lesson from it, and I moved on. And thankfully, it wasn't a lot of money. But I promise, if I can stop one more person from getting scammed because of this show, that's exactly what we're going to do. And so here is another example of a ways to be scammed. We run into this all the time. It's fake rental listings.
Rental listings.
You put up a property for sale or for lease, whatever it is. The scam artists will take your photos and put out an ad on Kijiji and say house for rent. And they'll put it up at a really great price. Mm-hmm. And they'll say, I'm out of the country right now. I can't show it. Here's the photos. It's available at this date. Mm-hmm. And I'm just looking for someone to take it over, because I really need to get a tenant in there, because I got all these things going on in my life. Mm-hmm. And so you get all these tenants who start sending the messages. They say, look, I can't get you in right now. We had a flood. We had a neighbor. We had a dog. We had my old tenants. I don't have the keys, whatever it is. But you can go and drive by the house. Mm-hmm. Okay?
Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't want to move into a place they just drove by? That makes sense. Yeah.
And if you send me the deposit for 1 month's rent,
that was coming. Yeah.
Then you get the place. You can secure the place. And when I come back,
I'll hold it for you.
When I come back, I'll get you in, and I'll make sure that before I arrive from my flight coming in from Vancouver, AC 316 on June 29th, 2025 at 7:16 p.m. We'll meet right after that. And
Here's
you're going,
a picture of the ticket.
This guy's coming. He's coming on a flight like 2 days before I'm supposed to move in. This is great. Yeah. It's got to be real.
And it's reserved for me too.
And it's a great deal. Imagine if I saved $400 a month on rent.
God.
Imagine what I could do with that $400.
Be great. I
can't get floor seats at the Raptors or anything like that. Maybe I'm gonna have to start running a Ponzi scheme to be able to get those kind of seats. But I could go to the Raptors game. I can sit up a little bit higher, but I could go to the Raptors game, right? I like the Raptors.
Wiring instructions.
Who doesn't like the Raptors?
Received. TK.
$400 a month.
Deal. We got a done deal here, baby.
He says I got to send it to him. It's the only way. Well, Western Union.
Okay, so keep going, because this is this a big scam? Is this a big thing?
This has been going on for years and years and years since the internet was around, and Kijiji and all that kind of stuff. Guys were scamming people this way. We get listings where people will call us and they'll say, hey, your guy's sign is on the lawn. I was told that this house is for rent. Here are the photos. Is this a real listing or not? And we have no idea. We're like, no, like this house isn't for rent, it's for sale, and the owner, the seller knows nothing about that. So it's a scam. Be careful all the time. but other
Crazy.
people sometimes fall for it because these scammers wouldn't be doing it if they didn't if it didn't work.
Sure.
Yeah, if it didn't work. So I just want people to be careful out there. All right.
You warned
We
us
got
about that scam in the parking lots, Mr.
Yep.
Vigilante. If
Yep,
you remember,
we have a scam with the Domino's pizza guy who says,
yeah.
"Can you lend me some? Can you lend me $20 because they won't take cash; they'll only take debit, and they copy your card."
I thought,
right?
last night it was
Yeah.
dark and I was looking out in the sky, and I thought I saw something that looked like a T and a K, like a big light in the sky.
Yeah.
I guess I did. Didn't I? Where's
didn't
your
see
cape?
nothing.
Where
you
is
didn't
your
see
cape?
nothing. All right.
Where's the cape, TK?
Also, if anybody asks you to send Bitcoin for anything, don't.
No, send it to TK.
Don't send Bitcoin to anybody.
Do you still have Bitcoin, TK?
Yes.
Trent swears by Bitcoin and thinks
don't
I'm
send
a
your
fool.
Bitcoin to anybody. Bitcoin is just meant for hoarding, okay, and for appreciating. It's not meant for actually spending on stuff.
Hoping.
Okay, don't spend it on. Don't give people your Bitcoin. All right, Calgary real estate agent Eric, real last name here. Drinkwater.
Drinkwater. Okay.
Eric Drinkwater, and somebody drank too much of his water.
Oh no, they drank the Kool-Aid made from his water.
Too much Kool-Aid from that
Yikes.
water.
Too much.
And he was scamming people out of $2 million, promising them
2 million.
Promising, yeah, he got caught pretty quick. He's in Calgary, so I mean, the $2 million is a lot of money out there.
What a dummy.
Okay, so he got caught with $2 million, and he got caught scamming people with $2 million. And basically, it was, hey, give me your money. I got these great real estate investments. I'm going to buy, this property. I'm going to buy that property, and it's all going to be secured. Don't worry.
Yeah.
And you're going to get my guarantee. Yep. Don't worry.
It'll be secured after you give me the money. Don't worry about it.
I will make sure you get this money back. And eventually, people reported him. He lost his license. He's no longer working as a real estate agent anymore. I would say, you know what? I'm going to go out on a limb here because one day, I'm going to be raising money, but you probably shouldn't be investing on any deals that your real estate agent brings you.
Ooh.
Because the average real estate agent is not qualified. That's the truth.
There's a hurdle.
No, it's the truth.
It's the truth.
It's the truth. The average real estate agent is not qualified to be investing. If they were really good at investing, and if they were really good at doing whatever business that they're doing, as apartment buildings, development, whatever it is, why are they working as a real estate agent?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, it's different if they say, I'm investing my money with this company because they are really good at what they do, and you could also do that. That's a different story because it would be like there's that sort of, what do they call that? How many degrees of separation? There's that sort of arm's length
are we talking
transaction.
Kevin Bacon, or what are we talking about? Because I think with Kevin Bacon, it's 3 degrees of separation.
3 degrees of separation. Okay.
That's the goal.
Let's go with 3 degrees.
Fine.
So that would be my first way of saying, okay, your realtor told you to invest. Now, another thing to be careful of is your realtor's making a commission. He's telling you to buy or she is telling you to buy pre-construction.
Or they.
There's a commission that could be also they.
Is that allowed
or
now?
they?
Is that
he, she, or they? I haven't seen a realtor say, call me they. I haven't seen that yet, but there's got to be out there.
Somebody applied for a job at DealCore Properties today.
Yeah. And they said they next to their name instead of he or she?
It was she, her, but
okay,
that automatically disqualifies you. As far
you're
as
out. I'm sorry.
Like, if it says anything,
we don't have a human resources department here at DealCore Properties, and you are not getting hired because your name was Sarah, and everybody knows you're a freaking she. All right, you didn't need to put her.
You're very
and she
pretty. You
at
have
the
boobs.
end of your name. It was clearly obvious.
What are you
Do you think
doing?
I'm an idiot? Okay, you think I'm an idiot?
You're gonna be a problem. I'm pretty certain of it. Right?
Gonna be some days where you're gonna want the day off, and I'm not gonna want to give it to you, but you're gonna know something to tell me that's gonna make me give the day off. All right, my last one, Darryl. My last one, I promise. Okay.
This is your last one.
I don't have their name.
Oh,
but it was in BC.
Oh, are you bringing up different fraudsters? Is this what's going on here? I just caught on. Okay.
I'm good. I'm giving everybody what's the theme of the show today?
I guess it's fraud now, which I feel like
Darryl. Is it the luxury lifestyle, or was it the fraud that led him to the luxury lifestyle?
But if you really analyze, Your question, TK, it's beyond
like that.
asinine, okay? It doesn't even
Okay.
make any sense.
But
But
hold on.
what?
What was the question? What was the question?
I don't know.
What
You
was the
keep asking
question?
what's the
How
theme
can
of the
you say my
show.
question's beyond asinine when you don't even know what
You
question
said
I
you
asked?
said
Tell
what
me-
are you even asking?
tell me
Is
what the
it
question
did the baby come out of
See-
the mother or did the mother
see,
come out of the baby?
You don't
Like
even
this is how
know.
well
No, but
most of us do, but you seem to be confused.
listen.
Okay? Did the
Rewind.
fraud come
Rewind this part
from
of the
the
show.
fraud? Or did the what?
Rewind this part
Yes,
of the show and prove to Darryl in the comments
please.
that I made sense.
Yes, you did make sense.
Stop making me laugh. Come on.
I'm sorry.
This is
I don't want
serious.
to hurt your throat.
We're catching fraudsters here, okay, Darryl?
That's right.
This is
Okay.
serious.
So the last fraud.
All right, in China,
Did you work
this
your way?
guy, mega tycoon in China.
That's his name, Mega Tycoon.
I don't know his name.
What was the Chinese
I don't know his
guy's
name,
we were
Darryl.
talking
He's
about
Chinese.
yesterday?
He's in China.
Hold on. What was the guy's name yesterday with Tom? Some weird fuck you.
That guy was a Vietnamese guy named, last name was the Dong.
the dong. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, we shouldn't bring that. This is not an appropriate topic for this show.
No, this is not for under
Not
the
for
table.
this
That's
channel.
their show. They're above board, those guys.
Yeah,
All
we're
right.
gonna be on.
Which,
the
by the
Tom
way, guys,
Story
we're
show.
on the Tom Story show. It's
Yeah,
coming
next
up in
week.
the next week or two. Yeah,
next
check it
week.
out. Check it out. They're all right, but only watch their show when we're on it. So,
Who else?
this guy asked this tycoon for $113 million.
Okay, hold on.
and he
Back up
gave
a
him-
sec. I don't know
Okay,
what
a
we're
Chinese
talking
guy in BC
about. Okay.
who had a family and everything else like that. He
In BC.
convinced a mega rich whale
Okay.
to give him $113 million to invest in a business deal and guaranteed him a 50% return.
A Chinese whale or a Canadian whale?
Chinese.
Okay.
The one guy's in Canada, but the other guy's in China.
I understand. Now I know why Chinese is important to the description of the individual. You're not just racist. It means that he's tied to the money.
No,
that
I'm
he
not
got in
racist at
China.
all.
No,
That's-
okay.
no,
I'm just
not
making sure.
I'm not at all. Yeah.
I'm protecting you, TK.
Okay, $113 million. He just wrote him a check.
Just like
He
that.
said, I'm going to get a 50% return, and you got a business plan here, unsecured. All right. Cut him a $113 million check. Now, this is in the glory days. This is in the 2016, like getting money out of China, bringing it to mainland BC, and everyone is just buying properties left, right, and center. They didn't care how much it was.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, sure.
So what does this guy do? He buys a bunch of properties in BC under his wife and his daughter's name.
Perfect.
Right?
Right. Perfect.
Sure.
Yeah, why not?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But he gets caught. He
Caught
doesn't have the
doing
guy's
what?
50%.
What's wrong with it?
Well, he doesn't. He spent all the money. Lavish lifestyle again.
Not on the real estate.
He bought some real estate, but he bought it in his wife's and daughter's name, and all the good
Oh,
things that he's enjoying life with. He's just spending the guy's money. He probably
Really?
lost it all.
Oh,
Right?
no.
So guess what he does? Like any sane person would do.
Buys another property.
He flies to China and kills the guy.
Oh, well, I mean, that
he
makes
flies
more
to China
sense.
and kills the guy.
I didn't
So he
know
gets
that
in
was
jail.
an option. That
he
if
goes
I
to
knew
jail
that
in
was an
China,
option,
he's
that's
probably-
obviously the right answer.
Executed by now. They probably chopped off his head, starting with like the smallest
Wow.
body parts first.
I think
But
he should
whatever.
get like a star.
That's what
for
he did.
Genius
In
level.
order for him to not get, I guess, punished or to not get
Killed himself, maybe?
retribution,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
said, well, I'm just going to kill this guy.
This makes the most sense. Obviously,
Okay.
you take 113 million from a dude, you better kill him.
You better
Or-
kill him.
Yeah,
That's what he did.
That's what he probably should have done. I mean,
$113 million.
I would have
murder.
taken some of the 113 million and spent it on a guy on the dark web at least. Like, why you got to go fly to China? Like,
He likes to get his hands dirty.
but there's a farmer there for like 8. What are they called? Bots, won, whatever the fuck
That's
they call.
RMB. You can say RMB.
Okay, for 8 of those fucking things, you can-
RMB. Yeah.
8 RMBs, you can
Yeah.
hire an assassin in China. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Don't quote me on this, but anyways, that was the right move. Go
So
on. Yeah.
now, of course, his family upset not just
Oh,
because
oh.
their father was murdered, but also because their money is gone, are now in the Canadian courts trying to have the Canadian justice system turn those properties, who are obviously in the daughter and the wife's names, into, I guess, the family of the deceased names. And that's why it's in the news.
Okay, so Thank you for that.
So
And
don't give your $113 million away. I
well,
guess would be
I
a good
mean,
start. And
I
if you
gotta,
do, if you're giving advice to fraudsters now,
yeah.
don't go and kill the person that you owe the money to.
No, that was the right move, TK. He just went
Is it?
about it wrong because he
He went
got
about it the
caught
wrong way.
doing it.
He got caught. Okay.
But
Don't get caught then.
I think the moral of the story should be, TK, and
Yes.
it's hard to imagine that somebody that could amass a liquid 113 million would not do enough due diligence before they release this to somebody, right?
Yeah.
So there must have been some other part of this story that was left out, maybe not on purpose, but there's something that doesn't just jive. You don't.
But how easy is it to fake documents? Like if you're really familiar with the
Fine.
business world and you
No.
know exactly what somebody's looking for,
Nobody's giving me. Look, if you look at me online and you search me up, you would think I'm worthy of just handing $113 million over to. But you're not just gonna fucking do it. You're gonna put me through the ringer first.
But what is the ringer then?
I just went through it a couple of times.
But all of those documents that you provided, could those not have been fabricated?
Very easily.
Could those not have been falsified?
Very
Is it not
easily
possible that somebody who just understands the system 100% can just provide fake documentation and show that everything that they're saying is true?
It's not a $600,000 first, goddammit. We're talking millions, TK.
Well, we're talking about a business transaction with no security.
Was it 113 because 13's like some weird Chinese lucky number? Is that why it was 113?
But the bottom line is, maybe that's all the guy had.
Feng shui.
Maybe he said it's a 50% return. How much can you invest? And the guy said, the most I got is 110. And the guy's like, are you sure? Can't you squeeze a little more? He says, I guess I can squeeze 3 million more. What about 113?
People in that bracket, people of that caliber, a 50% return is not that fucking good. Those guys go into deals that make ridiculous. That's
not true. That's not true. If you look at hedge funds, I'm not saying that there's not deals that they're in that, like, there's lots of deals that they get into. That's amazing. There's also a lot of deals they lose money on. So if you go into a hedge fund and you look at, like, what are the best returns and all that stuff, you look at the Millennium Fund and stuff like that from its heyday in the 80s till whenever, they had 66% gross returns before fees. After fees, it was 38% because they had the highest fees in Wall Street. So I mean, still, that's only 38%, and that's the best ever at a hedge fund. So
it's all a bunch of horseshit. I
disagree with you. Somebody who says 50% would be very happy with getting 50%.
They would be like, signing over 113 million.
Clearly, the guy was a smooth operator. He knew what he was doing. He had the docs.
That guy. Oh, that guy's dead.
He's in jail or dead in China.
Oh, maybe not dead, but did they deport him? Is that part of the story? Do we have one less?
Because he's a Chinese national leaving here. So when he went to China to murder the guy, he got caught in China.
Did get caught in China.
Yeah, he's in China.
That guy's dead. That guy is gone.
Most likely.
Most likely.
I don't know how it works over there for murder, but I don't think they are too happy about it. Especially when the guy with all the money gets murdered. It's different if you have all the money.
I think
you murder someone else.
Who orders the murder?
Yes.
Where do the orders come from? Because there's definitely murder in China that's okay.
I've been told this specifically by my Chinese friends. Money solves all problems.
Can you say that in Mandarin for us, TK?
No, but all money solves all problems.
Money solves most problems. Death is a tough one to solve with money, but that's coming soon. But for like $19.99 a month, I think. I'm just guessing. Maybe it's not that soon, but pretty soon you'll be able to cheat death for $20 a month on some kind of a SaaS platform.
Yeah.
I think. Well, TK. I mean, I feel like I learned something today. I spent a lot of time listening. Yes.
Good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm glad that your throat feels better.
What was your agenda today, Joe?
Well, thankfully, TK, the universe must have conspired for us in our favor, knowing that I had literally nothing to talk about. And you picked up the slack, which is amazing that just happened. This is how well-oiled a machine the Under the Table podcast is, TK. We didn't miss a beat, man. We were on it. We were vibing and flowing, and this might have been The third best show we've ever done
On the Under the Table podcast.
on the Under the Table podcast.
Yeah, we're top 3 for sure.
It's got to be top 3, but we have a good guest coming next week. I don't remember who it is. I believe it is Mr. Santo Sessa.
Sessa's coming back. There we go.
I believe so. Yes, that is correct. We have Mr. Sessa coming back, and he's always fun. And after that, a lot of surprises. We got
surprise guests. Maybe no guests.
Probably no guests, because that's always the best, TK, whether people want to admit it or not. The best is when it's just the two of us, TK.
Right? Cue music.
This shit is taking 5 years.